Hello, I'm John. My channel is KPEC3 Arrival, and I'm a Christian artist. And today I'm doing a video about encouraging you to stay on this pathway for success, which is no Fap. So if you keep watching, you can get some tips and goodies and some philosophy and some tricks that I use to extend your streak. The first thing to remember is that all you're trying to do on a streak is just to survive today. All right, you're trying to get from point A to point B without using PMO. That's all you're trying to do. It doesn't have to be graceful. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to survive. And you got to focus your mind just on surviving today. So do whatever you got to do to close out the day in a clean way. So, like, obviously you don't want to be looking at porn or nudity or sex, but do whatever you have to do. You can pray. Spend your time reading something non-sexual, like you can read about dopamine. Go in there to the NoFap community and you can journal and talk to people. All right. And always keep in mind an attitude that no matter how hard it is, be willing to endure the pain and suffering, because you will survive if you're willing. All right, and the next suggestion is don't worry, but planning is okay. Now, there's a big difference between worrying and planning. If I say to myself, oh, I got to build a big, massive, long streak, I'm gonna reboot for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You're building an expectation that you may not be able to satisfy, because if you convince yourself in your mind that you have to do that, it's been my experience that I've always taken my eye off of today, and it turns into worry. But planning is important and is what you need to do. And so in planning this massive reboot, we just say, hey, I'm going to get through today, and I'm going to look at my calendar. What appointments do I have? Do I have to do certain things for work? Do I have a sales call? I got to get my laundry done. I've got a clean house, and I might have to get my car maintenance, right? And those things, that's part of planning. We don't worry about those things. We schedule them, and that's a healthy way. But building a massive expectation is an unhealthy practice. Always just think about, when it comes to PMO, I'm going to survive today. And you will. All right, my next suggestion is that easy modes are easy for a reason. There's not much benefit there. The ultimate goal in doing a hard mode reboot is to not be using dopamine. Dopamine is the pleasure neurotransmitter, and essentially it just destroys your brain. It destroys your ability to think, and it makes you tired, indifferent, bored, and afraid, and can give you anxiety, depression. You're going to get a better and a stronger and a robust difference in what you can accomplish in a hard mode reboot. If you do an easier reboot than avoiding PMO, it's my opinion that you could be trapped in a relapse cycle, or you get to the end and you do 90 days on an easy mode and there's no real benefit, your life hasn't changed, then you probably will be back in an emotional space that'll make you want to use again. And that's not what is the ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to improve your life. This next idea is something that has really helped me out of a lot of times when I thought I was going to relapse. But always remember that you're never going to be forced to use PMO, right? If you decide that today is your day to abstain, you will. Nobody can contradict that, right? If you don't look at porn, the porn won't get looked at. If you don't, use M or O, it won't happen. You have to go out and take that voluntary action to relapse. So if you decide not to, it's just not going to happen. All right, so always remember, you have the advantage in this battle. Because if you decide not to do it, it will not happen. One thing I want to tell you about my story is that I didn't do a reboot until I was 43 years old. And I just thought that guys who were like me, who had a problem with porn, just kind of hid. I didn't know there was a community. I didn't know that I was destroying myself by spiking my dopamine. All right, but if you're willing to do this and be in this reboot, your suffering is going to be just temporary. If you keep doing it, you can get benefits. So you've got to become certain that these benefits are going to be worth it. And I'll tell you what, for me, they totally were. As a musician, I made a very serious breakthrough in 2018 because I'm an adult learner on the piano. And I just couldn't, I already knew theory, but I couldn't play very well. But sometime during that reboot, I had this breakthrough and went from being kind of like a not very good keyboard player to somebody who could play. And I just sat down and started playing the things that I was working on. So you will see your skills level up, and it's really a good feeling. And if that had been the only benefit, like that would have been enough. But I did a lot of other things. I mean, I lost 100 pounds. I was willing to diet, became a runner. It's just so many good things that happened to me, so any benefit that you get, if it's just one, it's probably only going to come through this reboot. All right, so hang in there and get that benefit, but I guarantee you're going to get a lot of benefits. These benefits will include this list here, which is motivation, risk-taking, energy, mental clarity, confidence, and financial benefits. When you're motivated in life to get something done, you become the kind of person that gets it done no matter what. And that first thing on this list is so strong because if you have enough motivation, you basically can do anything that can be done. If I'm not up against a physical limitation, right? Like you can't get in your car and drive to the planet Saturn. It's impossible. But what you can build a successful business or practice. You can get in a band, you can be an artist, you can get a girlfriend, you can create like an awesome app or program. Whatever it is, like you can do that. And all these things work together. You're going to have all these resources: motivation, risk-taking, energy, mental clarity, confidence, and the financial needs for you to accomplish your goal. The last thing I'll leave you with, and this is big to me, but always remember, don't give up. Never give up. In the words of Winston Churchill, right? Never yield to force in anything great or small, right? Because if you can't get through today without using PMO, then you get a job and you don't feel like going into work, so you quit. You start a project and then you have a hard day and you're not going to be motivated to complete it, right? Or you find yourself working in a factory or a cubicle and you're making a livable wage, but you're wondering, how do I get myself out of this? How do I move to the next level? If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be an investor, if you want to be happy, you've got to accomplish things. They don't have to be financial, but like you will need some financial stability. And you can do this. And if you start succeeding in this, what you're going to find is the resources you need to succeed in your venture in life are going to be there. You've got to believe in that. Always remember that. So don't quit. Thank you for watching my video today. You can put it in a playlist and watch it anytime you want. Make a playlist of several videos that you find or help you stay on your streak or your reboot. And always remember, like, you're not a victim to the past. You're not a victim to having failed relationships. Everybody's had them. You're not a victim, and you're not a failure. All right? You're going to take the action and become what you need to become in your destiny. You will succeed by taking that action. That action will trump anything else. It'll trump anything that you think about yourself. It'll trump what other people say that you can or cannot do. Action speaks louder than words, speaks louder than thoughts, right? And you're not a victim to your past or the way that things were. You're not a victim to porn. You're not a victim to the desire. You're just not going to be a victim when you start taking this action. You take it every day, and you do whatever you have to do. You make it through today, and you keep fighting. And I promise you, and anybody else who's made it through reboots, I did 233 days last year. All right? I don't regret a second of it. And you won't either. You're never going to regret being in a reboot, even if it's hard mode. In fact, the only hard part about it is basically the first 2 weeks. And after that, you've got enough of a habit. So keep going. And I hope that everybody who hears this is blessed. Consider going with God, saying a prayer when you get in a tight spot. All right? Don't give up. You can do it. Come back to this video anytime you want. And I wish you all the best.